What's your thoughts on these sleep trackers, things like the Aura Ring, Whoop, Apple Watch, things like that? Because they're becoming increasingly more popular, but they're really trying to figure everything out based on only your heart rate. So it's not taking into account your brain waves or the eye movement. So in reality, how accurate are they?
Really nice question. The answer to these technology questions will always be it depends on what question you're asking. Here's the reality. I have right now probably 6 athletes that I coach that are on over $200 million contracts. Do you really think I'm going to use a $200 Apple Watch?
Yeah.
We just had the Olympics. We have 4 years. We got one shot. And you think I'm going to use a $300 ring? Certainly not. So if
Yeah.
you're asking me, is that the best possible state of the art? No, 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 no,
Mm.
no. Not even close. Okay. My company in conflict of interest here is called Absolute Rest. We do all that stuff you mentioned. So your environment's gonna be scanned. It is brain waves that are scanning, ocular metrics, eye tracking, breath tracking, salivary, blood, all that stuff just for sleep, right? And much, 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 much more. So if you want to know state of the art, best in class, if we need to know your recovery, we're not using a tracker like that at all, ever. That said, I also still coach people for free. And I have some amateur like things because I just honestly I love coaching people that really need help, right? So maybe all we have is $300, we can use those technologies. What can we use them for? Okay, great. It doesn't matter if it's Garmin or Polar or Morpheus or pick your little technologies. They're two to $400. Okay, many of them are pretty okay at whether or not you're sleeping. And so if you're looking at it from just like total time, you might be okay. They're not very good about knowing when you're awake at night. They can't diagnose anything about how you're sleeping. The sleep metrics, your sleep staging, how much time you're spending in deep or REM, throw all that out. Don't look at it at all. It's almost entirely useless. HRV and respiratory rate they're okay. Again, they're not great. They're not done well, but they're at least somewhat reliable. So if you have consistent data on them and you notice a big change, it's probably real. Now you got to be careful because every 6 months or so, those companies change their algorithms and your scores will completely change. So if you do wake up one day and you're like, nothing happened, and all of a sudden I'm getting an hour more of deep sleep, it's probably not you. It's probably they changed their algorithms, right? Which is one of
Yeah.
the many reasons why you don't want to trust these things. But kind of a lot of times they're good at notifying users. You'll get emails, you get things like that. Hey, we changed our stuff. That's sometimes independent of the company, not always. Okay, so it's good for accountability. If you're coaching somebody and you're trying to go like, yo, Mike, you're supposed to go to bed at 11. They're like, yeah, yeah. Mike, you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Andy, I was asleep at 11. I'm like, I'm looking at your tracker. You were up till playing Fortnite till 1. I don't care if the data are accurate or not. We know that you were up playing whatever. Okay, so you know you're being tracked. You know I'm watching you as your coach. You're going to make better choices. People tend to make better health choices when they know they're being watched, for better or worse, right? So there's
Mm.
many, many, many ways. They are oftentimes great for conversation starters. So you know, as the coach, for example, that maybe the HRV score is not super accurate, but you know this person's fried out. You know that they're stressed out. You know that they're not taking their recovery seriously. Maybe they're eating Doritos every night. They're really erratic, whatever, whatever. And you're just looking for an entry point for conversation. Maybe you can look and say, hey, look, Mike, I keep telling you, you got to relax and recover. But it's not me, it's the objective. Look at your data. This is your HRV score. Now, here's some research on the negative side effects for your goal. Let me make one up because I did this one last week. Erectile dysfunction. So I'm not getting the type of erections I used to get. It's sometimes I'm having a hard time. I get an erection, but then it goes away, or it's just not as firm as I like. Something like that. Okay, great. And then you look, and somebody's HRV on an Aura ring is average of 15 milliseconds, and they're a 34-year-old. Like, okay, great. Well, now you can pull up studies, and there's lots of them There's strong, strong, strong associations between low HRV scores and erectile dysfunction in middle-aged men. And so, like, okay, who cares? Maybe the thing is off. Maybe the Oura Ring said your HRV was 20 milliseconds. In reality, it's not that. It is 40. Who cares? It's still really bad. It's still really low. And this goes, okay, Mike, so you've been complaining about A, B, and C, and you want to go on testosterone cream to fix it. Reality of it is, this is why I keep telling you you're stressed. HRV is this, ABC. Here's the data behind it. This is why I'm saying we should do this program. So for those things like that, these technologies are affordable, they're accessible, and they can be really strong entry points to conversations like that. So those are really exceptional ways to do it. I always like to make sure we do that, because a lot of times I just default to getting into best in class, because that's what we do with most of the time with even our non-athletes. All of our executive clients, all of our normal people clients, they get everything best in class. But a lot of people can still get a tremendous amount of success from those more accessible, more affordable technologies, as long as you're just using them appropriately. So understand the pros and cons, and then use them the way that you can get the most out of them, and don't fall into the recovery scores. Don't take the training advice from them. Don't pay attention to the weird metrics that are on there. Your sleep number, your sleep score, like that's the stuff to stay away from. Who cares? Just go to the actual individual metrics.